Greetings and welcome everyone to the world of NieR, or you can say Dragon NieR, or simply Yukoverse. Because in this video I want to explain you what is actually happening in Yuko Taro's universe, because with new versions of the same story, with a replicant new version and Automata new anime of the Automata game, people have so many confusions that what is the meaning of all these endings and new endings in these versions. And I want to tell you that there is no confusion. The NieR Automata or this franchise is still following one chronological order from Dragon Guard 3 to NieR Reincarnation. Because of the many endings in the game, people think that there are so many meanings to the game and there are so many possibilities. But no, the story from Dragon Guard 3 to NieR Reincarnation, or you can say just Automata, it is still following one straight up line. And if I talk about NieR games, the endings of NieR games is not that much messy, just like Dragon Guard games, because Dragon Guard games ending doesn't make any sense. You just need to understand that the end of the Dragon Guard 3 is that brother NieR, I mean brother 1 is still alive, so he will create Dragon Guard, and Dragon Guard will end up creating NieR. And in NieR, everything is straightforward. Ending A, B, C are not actually the endings. They are just one part of the story ended in the game. If you played the game, you know, and you can see that. The actual ending will be the ending E where you see the final ending. For example, in NieR Replicant, the final ending is that Kaine saved brother NieR and now the story continues. With Automata, if I talk about Automata, you can see that ending A and B are just like first half of the game. Then the story continues, and according to the novel and according to the timeline and dates and years, the actual ending happened is Ninus and A2 killing each other, which is ending D. After that, obviously ending E happens where pods resurrect our characters once again, and according to the timeline, the next ending is farewell, and now Yukotaro created another ending which is end of the data. So this is, you can see that how we are still going with one chronological order of the whole story. And Yuko Taro is again and again explaining all of this. In NieR Incarnation, he explained everything. And in the latest NieR Incarnation guidebook, or you can the strategy guidebook, it is called the data collection, because it is actually a collection of everything happened in this universe. And there is a chronological table that will explain you the whole chronological timeline from NieR. From Dragon Guard 3 to NieR Replicant, Automata, everything. Because just like I told you, there's just one timeline straightforward going. Now, the main topic of this video, which is what is happening with this franchisee right now. What is the meaning of all these new versions that Yuko Taro created, like a new version of Replicant and new version of Automata, which is version 1.1a, and a NieR Replicant is version 1.22, you know that version. So what is the difference or what is the meaning of these versions in this timeline? So let me explain you. In my last videos or in my few last videos, I've explained to you that there are so many concern shows and stage plays. And NieR Automata is specially based on, or like this whole story is created from a story from the stage play that Yuko Taro created in 2014. At that time, it was a completely individual project, but now it is part. I mean, you can see that Pearl Harbor Decent Mission story became the base for NieR Automata. And that's why that story was recreated so many times before the game and after the game. Like now we have version 1.0, then we have version 1.1, then we have version 1.2 musical, and Yuko Taro got an idea of a gender swap, and that's why after the NieR Automata became successful, he created Yorha Boys stage play, and then he made a new version, Yorha Girls version 1.a. That was the same story of Yorha Boys story, but you can see there was a gender swap because the stage play was having all female cast, and you know Yorha Boy's story is a story of all male androids from Yorha, and the captain was Commander Black. So you can see that you could have changed this gender was like showing you like you were watching the same story but in alternate timeline where everyone is a female character. That is the reason why the title has version 1.1 and A. A is for alternate timeline, or you can say an alternate universe. And later these stories were adapted in novel formats, and that's why novels were created, and then they were translated in English, German, French and other languages. And you could have used the same formula for NieR Replicant version 1.2. That was just a new version because the original ending, I mean the new ending that people think is a new ending, is also in the original game. It is not a new ending, I told you. And for the NieR Automata anime, you can see it is a version 1.1a. And you already know, if you've watched the anime, you know it is completely a different timeline. And I think now you can understand the meaning of A or version in the title, because obviously NieR Automata anime is a new timeline because game is already forward going with the farewell story, the end of the data story, and obviously NieR Reincarnation is a direct sequel. I'm telling you, the timeline is still moving forward. Everything was Yuko Taro's planning, because NieR Reincarnation and NieR Replicant new game were both together announced by Yuko Taro in 10th anniversary. He was planning for all of that. That's why I'm telling you that do not have any kind of confusion with the timeline. NieR Automata is still going with the game timeline, and anime is just an alternate timeline that Accord is watching. So yes, it is part of our universe but not part of our main timeline. And if I talk about Accord, she is also in the latest Your Pearl Harbor story, the stage play version 1.3a and version 1.3aa. Yes, another alternate version for Pearl Harbor story where everyone is a male cast. So, because in the stage play, Accord herself said that she has watched these timelines so many times, which means all the stage plays that you watch are technically like alternate timelines. So, anime is also an alternate timeline, but obviously, we are following one chronological order of our main timeline. All others are just something that Accord is watching. So you can understand what is technically happening. So this is it, all my explanation about Yukoverse and what is actually happening in NieR universe. If you played the games NieR Incarnation and all the games, you obviously know and understand everything already. I explained you everything that I understand in this franchise with constant source stage plays and all side material story like manga books everything. So thank you everyone. I will see you again in another fan video and until then, farewell.